Welcome to the Crown Hills Kitchen, and today we're going to be making lemon drizzle cakes. Now the first thing we need to do, we need to make sure we clean our work surface with the antibacterial spray to make sure we remove any germs or bacteria that may be lingering on our work surface. The first thing that you'll need to do is we need a muffin tin. So we're going to make quite large cakes today rather than just small cupcakes. And I'm going to ask you to get 12 cupcake cases or muffin cases. This mixture will probably make 10, but it's always best just to have a little bit extra just in case we get a bit more. Once you've done that, just move that to one side. Now the first thing that we need to do is we are going to cream sugar and butter together. Now the creaming method is where we use the back of a wooden spoon and we spread the margarine into the sugar, and this creates air within the mixture. So I'm going to put that into here. Mine has already been weighed out for me. And using the back of the wooden spoon, I'm just going to start to press it. Now you'll notice that I'm just tilting the bowl slightly, and that's to ensure that all my ingredients fall into place as I mixed it. Now you can only do this a little bit at a time. You can't get all of the butter and trying to mix it in one go because it just simply won't work. So we just start off with a little bit at a time, just pressing that down to make a nice smooth paste. And when you've got most of it, you will be able to beat it. Now some people hold it like this when they're beating. I find that really difficult because I've got quite small arms. So I just hold it with my hand like this, keep it flat on the table as much as I can, and just start to mix it. Okay? Now what's really important is that we scrape the sides. We want to make sure we've got all of it mixed together rather than having bits of butter that's not been mixed very well. So I'm just going to do that. And you should end up with a mixture that looks something like that. And it should resemble something along the lines of vanilla ice cream. That's what I always say to look for. Okay? So once we've done that, we then need to crack 2 eggs into a jug. Now the reason I'm cracking them into a jug is because if, for example, I accidentally get some shell into there, I'm able to take it out and remove it easily. If I crack it into here with the ingredients that I've already put in, then it's going to be a lot harder for me to fish that out. So what I'm going to do, I've already got one in here ready. What we do is we cradle the egg like this. Don't tap it like this. Do one firm hit. Even if you're not that confident, pretend that you are confident. One hit, get your thumbs in the middle and pull it apart like this. Okay, and then that can go in the waste bowl, and it allows you just to check if you've got any eggshell in there. Luckily, I'm okay. And then all I'm going to do with a fork is just to beat it and mix it together. The next part that I need to do now is I need to add the egg a little bit at a time, okay? And there's a reason why we add it a little bit at a time, is because if you added it all in one go, what can happen between the egg mixture and the sugar and butter mixture, it can curdle, and that means it separates and you end up with this really horrible gooey mixture. So it's very important we do a little bit at a time. And what I would say is to roughly split it into 3 sections. So we're going to pour a little bit into my mixture and just take my time and just to mix it with a spoon. All I'm doing is drawing big circles in my bowl. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm just going to mix this up, and what will happen is the egg mixture will start to disappear. When it does start to disappear, and you'll notice again I'm just scraping the sides of the bowl, we add the next little bit. Okay, so I'm going to add the next little bit into here. Just repeat the process. Mix it in, big circles, keep scraping the sides of the bowl. You can see I'm holding it in the air, I just find this easier for myself. And when it disappears again, I'm going to add the next bit. And this will probably be my last section. All of that egg in. Add that like this. And that way, you don't get a mixture that splits or that ends up curdling, and that's really, really important. Now, as we're making lemon drizzle cakes, we need to make sure we get the lemon in there. And for that, we need quite a lot of other equipment for this. And we're going to use fresh lemon, because using fresh lemon we get a much better flavour than using lemon juice out of a bottle that's been manufactured, so that's important. So I'm just going to move these to one side for the moment. Now with the lemon, we're actually going to grate, and we're going to get the lemon zest, or lemon rind, you may hear it. Lemon rind or lemon zest is the skin of the lemon. We don't actually want the juice at this stage. We will want the juice a little bit later on, but not straight away. Now on the grater, we've got a large slicing action there, or large slices on this side, slightly smaller, or the smallest ones on the edge, and then we've kind of got a medium one on the back, and that's the one that we're going to go for. So when you're doing this, it's very important that you have a nice flat surface, and you put your hand on top of the grater to make sure it doesn't move around. That's really important. Don't hold the lemon like this. You're going to cut your fingers, and trust me, it really hurts, especially if you get lemon juice in an open wound. It's not good. So always keep your fingers away. And what we're going to do is we're going to go downwards 3 times, like this. 1, 2, 3. That way, we only go through to the surface of the lemon. We're not going through to the white bit on the inside. The white bit on the inside is called the pith. We don't actually want to get that bit, we just want the skin, we want the rind of the lemon. So 1, 2, 3. As we can see, we can then rotate the lemon and keep going. So making sure your fingers are away, hold it as tight as you can. It might be slippy, it might move away in your hands, just take your time. We don't want any cut fingers please when doing this. This is quite a sharp implement. And we're going to go all the way around the lemon, and you might start to see some of the lines appearing from me grating. And you'll start to see a lot of the lemon rind appearing on the grater, and that's okay, that's what we want. Most of that off. Do not throw that away. We're going to need that for the drizzle part of our lemon drizzle cakes at the end. So just keep it to one side for me because we will need that. Now, in able to get this off the actual grater, I'm going to use one of these bristled brushes. You could use a pastry brush, but what I always do is hold it right near the base because it makes it nice and firm. And what we're going to do is we're going to get our bowl, and using this, we're just going to brush off the lemon rind off the grater and into my cake mixture. Now you can do this at different angles, might not just work up and down. As you can see, I'm going side to side as well. Also helps you when you come to clean, so you can use it as a cleaning brush. And also don't forget the inside, there's always lots, as you can probably see, on the inside of the grater. And you should get quite a lot of lemon from that, okay? What we are going to add into here as well is we're going to add 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Now, as I said, we're going to use the fresh lemon for the topping so we get a really nice flavour. But for the inside of the cake, I'm going to use this. So for teaspoons, I'm going to just pour this. Now, it's very important that you're quite accurate with this. Because it's very acidic, it can react with the cake and not allow it to rise as much if we get it wrong. So I'm just going to mix that in place and just stir that. Like this. The next part to this, we now need to add some baking powder and the flour. And this forms the main bulk of our mixture. Now in terms of baking powder, we only need half a teaspoon of this. And again, it's very, very important that we get this accurate, because this is the opposite now. There's something being very acidic. So we keep it like this, okay? And we're just going to pour that into here, along with half of the flour. So I'm just going to roughly estimate that. Now what we're going to do at this stage is going to fold this mixture. Now I'm using a wooden spoon at this stage. It would be good to switch to a metal spoon because it will prevent it from sticking to your wooden spoon. But I'm just going to start it off with my wooden spoon like this and get half of it in. And then I'm going to switch to the metal spoon and just like that, and it will prevent it from sticking, as you can see there. And then I'm going to add the remaining flour, and again I'm just drawing big circles, so this is called folding, and I'm drawing number 8s in my bowl. It's very important that you scrape the sides and you mix it really well. You can see I'm just tilting the bowl to make sure I get all of that mixture together. And if you mix this really well, you'll end up with a nice smooth mixture that looks something like that. Now what we need to do is we need to transfer this into our cupcake cases that we laid out earlier. Now, as I said to you, I asked you to put 12 into here. We might not need 12. I think we'll probably only need around 10. It's always better to have some more extra ready just in case. Now, it's very important when you're putting cake into a tin that we don't get the edges of the cupcake case, because what can happen when it goes into the oven, that part will burn and then that will rest on the surface of your cake. It's not a good look and it's not a good taste either. So when we do it, we're going to use 2 spoons. I've got a big tablespoon and I've got a slightly smaller dessert spoon here, as it's called. What we're going to do is we're going to take a spoonful of this mixture, cut the base so it doesn't drop, okay? And then we're going to vertically hold the spoon and scrape into the cupcake case, okay? So I'm going to repeat that. Get a spoonful, cut the bottom of the spoon, hold it vertical and scoop it into there. Now, we're going to do this and repeat all the way through. This is so that we get it accurate. This is also so we have the same amount of cake mixture in each one, because we don't want uneven cakes. We don't want one that's really big and that explodes, and then we end up with some that are really big and it goes everywhere, and then some that are just too small. But it will allow us to try and be as accurate as possible. So I'm just going to do this now and see how many I can make out of this mixture. We guessed at 10. We might have a bit more, really. A little bit left, which I think we should be able to get another one. So I've managed to get 12. Now, when you've done that and you've put one in each one, have a look at your cakes and think, right, is there any that need slightly topping up with what you've got left? So I'm going to see how much more of the mixture I can get from my bowl, and I can see I was a little bit nervous at the beginning and I've not filled that one up as much. So I'm going to fill that one up. Again, I'm going to just see what else I can get, and I think I can fill that one up and I can put them in like this. Now, these will go in the oven for approximately 15 to 18 minutes. What will happen is they'll go slightly golden on top, okay? And we need to do something while it's in the oven, okay? So I'm gonna just put these in the oven now. So I'm going to take them over to my cooker. It's very important that we use oven gloves for this. So I'm gonna open the oven door, hold them, and they go in landscape like this. So I'm gonna pop them in the oven, shut the oven door. And now we're going to talk about the drizzle. So while it's in the oven, we're going to do the drizzle part, which is the topping. And this is where I said to you, don't get rid of the lemon, because we're going to need that part of the lemon. So what we're going to do here, firstly, we're going to cut the lemon. Now, it's always best to do it on a chopping board, but we're going to cut the lemon in half. And what we're going to do is we're going to juice the lemon. So you'll need a lemon juicer. If you haven't got a lemon juicer at home, you could simply just squeeze it in, but we're going to use a lemon juicer. And I'm going to do it on this, into this jug. So get the juice, get the lemon, and what we're going to do is just squeeze it, okay? And just keep twisting the lemon until we get as much of the juice out as possible. Now, it has like a little ridge around the centre of this. This is to prevent any seeds from falling into there. Again, I'm going to do this, put it into the centre and squeeze, get as much out as possible, like so. The more you get, the better it will be. And we're going to pour that into the jug. Okay. The final thing that we need to add is 3 tablespoons of icing sugar, because we need to make it really sweet. Now, we've got this ready. I'm just going to pour 1. Try and make it as flat as you can, 2 and 3, and they will go in like this. With that brush that we used earlier when we were doing the rind of the lemon, just mix it with the brush. And what will happen is the icing sugar will dissolve, disappear into the lemon juice, and you'll end up with quite a clear liquid like this. As soon as they come out of the oven, what we're going to do is we're going to, in effect, paint the top of our lemon drizzle cakes. And what will happen, because they're warm and just come out of the oven, the cakes will absorb that drizzle, so it will make it even more lemony. So I'm going to leave this to one side now. I'm going to continue to wash up, and I'll show you what they look like when they come out of the oven. So when they're out of the oven, what we need to do is we need to transfer them to the tray onto a cooling rack. And to check if they're cooked, we're going to use a skewer. And what we do is we place it into the middle of the cake, pull it out, and it should be crystal clear. If it's gooey like it was before we put it in the oven, then we know it's not done and it needs to go back in. As soon as you've got them out, we need to put our lemon drizzle on top. And what we're going to do is we are literally going to paint the drizzle onto our cakes, and you must do this while they're warm, because what will happen is the cakes, because they're warm, they'll absorb the drizzle like this. And that is how you make lemon drizzle cake.